The Shark Deck.
I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Pretty robust off the holiday weekend. If you missed it, there's a new Tom Segura special on Netflix. And a fun headline I saw on Tom Segura Twitter said, Tom Segura, says Garth Brooks, finally blocked him on Instagram and doesn't like the serial killer jokes. And I was like, okay, what's this? That took me to Whiskey Riff. By the way, do not click on whiskyriff.com unless you love pop-up ads covering the article you're trying to read. I get the monetization, folks, but I couldn't even read the article. Here's the backstory. You may have noticed that all of Garth Brooks' social media posts, especially on Instagram, are littered with comments asking him a rather peculiar question. It all started back in October 2018 when Garth announced his stadium tour. Tom Segura brought up a conspiracy theory in which people believe that Garth Brooks' stadium tours often align with missing people cases that appear across several cities in the United States. Segura was on with Theo Von, who said, people are saying I'm trolling the guy. All I'm doing is repeating what I've heard, that allegedly his tour schedule aligns with dozens of missing persons. On his own podcast, Segura has alleged, let me quote it here, we've been really on one with Garth Brooks the last few weeks or months, really. What he's thinking about is all the bodies he's got stacked in graves in his yard. For sure, he's probably killed 200 to 300 people in his life. The host continued to troll Garth Brooks with serial killer jokes and included segments in their show like Garth Brooks sucks, what's wrong with Garth, Garth's beard looks insane, and most notably, where are the bodies, Garth? Then they found there's a gym in the UK named Garth's Gym Future Bodies. Although Sportskeeda points out, and Daily Comedy News would also like to point out, the theory seems to be a coincidence. No news outlet has reported on Garth Brooks being involved in any missing persons cases. I don't believe he's a serial killer at all. In fact, I'll declare that he's definitely not, and there are no investigations into Garth Brooks being a serial killer. Segura has confirmed that he's been blocked by Garth Brooks, telling Theo Von, first I got word about a year ago from a 100% reliable source. I was like, does he know? And they're like, oh yeah, he knows. And I was like, is he upset? And they're like, he just doesn't get it. He doesn't know why you're talking about him. Then recently he blocked me on Instagram, and I was like, oh, he finally blocked me. For a couple years, Segura was not actually blocked by Garth on Instagram. He was just restricted, whatever that means, even though most of the comments Garth gets on any post are asking where the bodies are. John Mulaney was on the Hot Ones podcast, and he can handle spicy food. He gave some harsh notes to a hot sauce called Da Bomb. Mulaney said, it's not good. It's not good food. Do you understand? It doesn't make food better. I'm not trying to damage their business. Not a good product. Later in the interview, he talked about being a dad and said when he was a kid, here's the problem with goldfish, especially if you're like taking care of people. You want to feed them more, but you're not supposed to. There's only one thing I can ever give you, goldfish, and I gave it to you already today, but you're still there, and I want you to like me, and I want you to tell the other fish that I'm a good guy, so I'd love to feed you again and again and again. Kill him with kindness. A scary moment for Gabriel Fluffy Iglesias. His plane ran off the runway on Friday. His private plane was attempting to land at Western Carolina Regional Airport around 1 o'clock Friday. The Gulfstream 4 ended up on the grass about 600 feet past the end of the runway. Gabe on Twitter said, everybody is okay, but shaken up. Happy to be alive. Here's a weird one. What are you up to, Amy Schumer? Amy Schumer dropped in virtually to commend the cast of Joyride. They were doing a press junket, and suddenly Amy Schumer's on and says, hi, this is Amy Schumer from ilovejoyride.com. She went on to say that she loved the movie so much, the cast, everyone involved. I can't tell you how much I love this movie and how much I needed it. It's my girl, friend, everyone, comedy of the summer. You guys rock. I've been doing this a while. Something's up there. We'll see what happens there. Joel McHale says Donald Glover is indeed returning for the Community movie. This is a lot of news off a 4-day weekend, right? Yeah. Not scraping the barrel at all today. Donald Glover will be in the Community movie, according to Joel McHale. Chevy Chase will not. Peacock has yet to officially confirm Donald Glover's involvement, but Joel was on Kelly Ripa's podcast, said Donald's coming back, and that's really important. The fact that Donald's going to do it, that was the big piece, but I think everyone's coming back. I mean, so far we're pretty good, and I think it'll happen. If not, then, Donald will be there. See, it'll just be Donald. It'll just be in an episode of Atlanta. All right, by everyone, does that include Chevy Chase? McHale said, yeah, I don't think so. There weren't any issues at all when we were making the show.
Do you love your Peloton?
Oh, I sure do.
Well, I know you do because you started a podcast about one. If you love your Peloton and can't get enough of it and all the news that goes along with it, you should check out our show. It's called The Clip Out. It's a great place to go for instructor news, new classes, motivational tips, corporate machination.
We don't just tell you the news, we also give you our thoughts on why things are happening. And each week we also interview a member of the Peloton community. Sometimes it's, somebody like like me, just a regular person riding their bike.
Sometimes it's snucking.
You never know.
You never know.
The Clip Out is about anyone who loves their Peloton.
Every week we take you behind the scenes and inside the world of Peloton. The Clip Out is available wherever you get your podcasts, or check out our website,
theclipout.com.
Vulture reviewed Alex Edelman's new show, Just for Us. That's the show built around Alex's experiences at a white supremacist meeting. Spoilers here. Once he arrives, he gets distracted by the fact that the meeting's being held in an apartment full of completed framed jigsaw puzzles. The members of the meeting even have a spread of whites-only muffins and orange juice. He starts his show by bringing its scale all the way down. He launches into a riff about a gorilla's friendship with Robin Williams, sentence I didn't expect to say. Even gorillas were like, this guy is unbelievable. And contrasted Williams' nearly universal appeal with his own specific appeal, saying, my comedy barely works if you're not a Jew from the Upper East Side. Vulture points out, as most audiences will know going in, this is a show about a Jewish comedian who ended up going to a white nationalist meeting, so why are we starting by imitating a zookeeper describing celebrity deaths in sign language? Because Edelman's opening gambit reveals itself to be cannily constructed, he pulls the audience close with the self-deprecation and then destabilizes the dynamic. He turns things around and makes the show all about his need as a comedian to appease, which reacts nauseatingly when it comes in contact with Nazis. Genre-wise, Just for Us lies in the growing niche of solo performances that falls somewhere between storytelling and stand-up, in the vein of Mike Birbiglia's ventures. Birbiglia is a producer on Just for Us. Josh Gad gave an update on the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids franchise. I know you were like, hey, where's the new Honey, I Shrunk the Kids movie? Well, it was announced back in 2020. Rick Moranis was going to reprise his role as scientist Wayne Zelinsky, but we haven't heard much. Josh Gad went on Twitter, and he said, a lot of you were asking me what's going on with this film. Were they really? Okay. Truth is, we were inches from starting, and then COVID hit, inches from starting again, and then my schedule exploded with conflicts, inches from starting again, and budget got the best of us. If you want it, let your local Disney know. UCB is going to reopen in New York City. UCB under new ownership now. They've found a new theater space on 14th Street in Manhattan. The new owner said, we're planning on resuming performances in the fall of 23, and that's as specific as we want to get right now. The new space will include 3 floors. There are plans to add an elevator to make it ADA compliant. The ground floor will include a coffee bar, hangout space, and small performance area. The mezzanine will have a bar and restrooms that are so big it's crazy, and the basement will house the main theater. This sounds pretty cool. Variety reports a comedian has filed a copyright lawsuit over the stand-up series Live at the Moth Club. Comedian Harry Deansway is suing Steve Coogan's production company over a series called Live at the Moth Club, which he claims rips off his YouTube show Shambles. In the filing, Shambles is described as a sitcom centered around a live comedy night at a rundown club struggling to make ends meet. The show blends fact and fiction by combining a sitcom set behind the scenes of a club with real comedy performances in front of a live audience. The lawsuit says Live at the Moth Club is kind of similar to Shambles, including the setting, the format, and characters such as a shambolic promoter. He also claims a number of jokes are ripped off, including one about the lights at the club not working and another in which an intern ends up writing material for one of the comedians. A spokesperson on Coogan's side said, we strongly refute this claim, which has no legal merit, and that's your comedy news for today. Follow the show for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your shows. Smash the like button and all that. See you tomorrow.